Okay, so today we're going to learn about the man that came from heaven at our grandparents ate in the desert for 40 years. And we're going to learn about the name man. Man just means panas mazin, means food. And the question we're going to address today is, why didn't the Jewish people call it man until after they were eating it for a week? We're also going to discuss the way that God sustains us, how it works, and the value of it working this way. And we're supposed to learn from Shamsan Estamon. Before we get into anything, let's go over the brief overview of the Torah's description of the month. How does the Torah describe the gifts of the month? Torah has four parts to the story. Part one is Torah says the month came down. The Jewish people went together. Right? There were people that found the month by the doorstep. Maybe we'll have to go a little bit away. Maybe we'll go far out. Torah says that it came down according to your merits. If you had more merits, it was right by your doorstep. If it was not such great merits, it was so farther away. If you were walking far out, I guess you attract attention. Hey, what's wrong with that guy? Why does he have to walk so far? And there's also a difference in the way that the man came down. If you were righteous, it came down as ready-made to eat, like ready-made bread. If you weren't so righteous, it came down as dough. If you weren't so righteous, it came down as seeds. You have to grind the seeds and make the dough. So that's the first thing the Torah talks about, the way the man came down, the way they gathered the man. Everyone went out to gather the man, and you always came back to the same amount. Although you may have gathered a lot, gathered a little, you always came back to the same amount, enough for your family. And then the Torah describes what happened on Friday. On Friday, what happened was the money started coming down on Sunday. What happened on Friday was that a double portion came down, more than usual, double portion. And God told Jewish people, they asked Moshe, what does this mean? Moshe said, there will no money will come down on Shabbos. You should prepare the month for Shabbos, prepare food for Shabbos. It's not going to come down on Shabbos. The Torah then describes how it didn't come down on Shabbos. Some people didn't believe it. They went out to gather. This is in the story of Nadav and Avihu, not Nadav, Lasan and Avira. They tried to pick Moshe Rabbeinu as being dishonest. They put out man in the fields. People should see, oh, it did come down. And the birds came and they ate the man. That the man didn't, different versions exactly what happened. According to one opinion, the birds came and ate it. That's why this Shabbos is a custom to give, before Shabbos, put out food for birds. Thank them for the for what their contribution to defending the honor of Moshe. There's always a custom to eat buckwheat, put buckwheat out for the birds, and that's why it's also our custom to eat buckwheat for Shabbos. Another reason we thank the birds is because when the birds joined when we were singing to Hashem, the birds sang along with us. So thanks to the birds, that's why it's custom for people to feed the birds on Shabbos, but luckily it's better to put the food out before Shabbos. Anyway, so a third thing is, I don't know if it's specifically our custom to feed the birds before Shabbos, but many people do. Anyways, but it used to be the custom. It's in the Maral, in the Maral's city in Prague. There were many synagogues under his authority, and he would go out and talk to the children on Parshat Beshalach, and talk to birds, and appreciate what the birds did, and feed the birds. Okay, but halachically it's not so simple to do that on Shabbos because they're not our birds, and therefore are we we're not getting to that subject. I got way off. Let me go back. So that's the second thing. The man coming down during the week and not coming down on Shabbos. Then there is a third message, this Torah portion. Thank you. Speaking about bread coming down from heaven, we got cookies coming down from Kobe. Thank you, Kobe. Okay, then there is the third thing the Torah talks about. After it talks about Shabbos, it then says, we then called it man. And then the Torah describes what it tasted like, or that any taste you wanted, and how it looked like coriander seed, Um, the Torah describes the beauty of the man and the taste of the man. And finally, the fourth subject is Hashem says, take the man, put it in a basket, and hold on to it for generations. People should have this for generations. They should know that God can support them and feed them for all time. That's the four parts of the story. The man coming down, the man coming down doubly on Friday and not coming down on Shabbos. Third, we call the man. And fourth, Hashem says, put this into a preserve it for generations. So question is this: why did the Jewish people, why is the Torah way to describe what the man looked like, what it tasted like, until after a week of the man coming down? And second of all, because the man started coming down on Sunday. And second of all, why do the Jewish people only call it man after having it for a week? Why do they call it man when they first started coming down? Why do they give it that name after a week? And the same question can be asked about the man that was preserved for generations. If the purpose of them preserving the man was in order to show that God can sustain us any way that He would like to, and we don't have to worry about earning a living, Hashem will take care of us. So then why did they only get this commandment after a week of having the man? Why didn't Hashem tell them originally, hey, here, look how I'm feeding you. I'll take some of this and preserve it. What was the purpose of that mitzvah being given only a week later after they had the man for a week? If Hashem wanted us to preserve it, He could have told us in the day one on Sunday. Look at this. It's amazing. Bread's coming out from heaven. Take some of it and hold on to it. But why is only after a week of having the man? Then Hashem says, okay, hold on to it. So to understand this, we have to understand that the theme of what the man really was about. The idea of the man is that Hashem wanted us to be nourished in a way that is tranquil and pleasurable. Hashem wanted us to be supported in a way that is enjoyable, in a way that's a way of tranquility. So, in addition to the bread coming down from heaven without us making any effort, the way Hashem gave it to us was also in a way of, it showed that Hashem wanted us to have absolute relaxation and pleasure. First of all, as the Torah says, Moshe Rabbeinu announced to the Jewish people, you will see in the morning the glory of Hashem. You will see the glory of the light of His face. That means you'll see His love for you. See how much Hashem cares about it. If the man's going to come, as the man came down, not just she gave us the food. Sometimes you go into a restaurant and the way they slap it down in front of you, you're like, oh my gosh. Sometimes you feel like, oh, respected, I gave it to you. Like, oh, it's true. Anyway, so Hashem, how did He give us the money? What was His waiting sign? So He gave it to us with dew on the bottom, dew on the top, and it was like put into a box, to a basket. So that means Hashem highlighted in the way He gave us the money that He was giving to us with love. Hashem minimized as much as possible the effort of the Jewish people in obtaining this food, so that this should be something which is pleasurable, relaxed. And so the man and Shabbos therefore carry the same thing. What's Shabbos? Shabbos is a day we're not supposed to work. We're supposed to have everything ready to eat on Shabbos, without any effort. So to the man. The man, it's about Hashem giving to us food in a way that gives us pleasure and relaxation, not effort. So when is the perfection of pleasure, perfection of relaxation on Shabbos? Because every other day, even if you're outside, if by your doorstep, you're still going to your doorstep. But on Shabbos, you had it already before on Friday. So the perfection of the man, when did you see the perfection of this gift of Hashem, that there's no effort whatsoever, it's completely already for you? You saw that on Shabbos. So Shabbos and the man have the same theme, and the perfection, the best man experience was on Shabbos, but there's no effort whatsoever. So now we can understand why, number one, the commandment to preserve the man only came after Shabbos, and number two, why the Jewish people only called it man after Shabbos. When you give food a name, right? that name categorizes that food that has a certain characteristic and taste. The word man doesn't have any characteristics. Man just means food. Why was the man just called food? Because the man didn't have a specific taste. You know what the man tasted like? Anything you wanted. Yeah. If you wanted to taste like pizza, taste like pizza. One tastes like roast beef, tastes like roast beef. Whatever you wanted to taste it. Every Jew tasted whatever they wanted to taste it. So every other food has a specific taste, a specific texture and characteristic. But the man had this infinite, wasn't limited, it wasn't categorized by anything specific. You're able to feel in the man many categories. It wasn't limited to a certain category. And this is the reason why the man reaches perfection on Shabbos. On Shabbos, when the man came down without any effort whatsoever, with absolute rest, they reached the conclusion, this is just pleasure. When it came down during the week, they thought to go and make some effort. But when did they realize you can't categorize this food? This is just full pleasure. Just Hashem is taking care of us. What is this? This is just pleasure. They realized that on Shabbos, when there was no effort whatsoever, it was full relaxation. And then they realized, you know what this is? This is just Hashem taking care of us. It's just man. There's no specific idol for this kind of food. It's just God taking care of us. It's just food. Just food, just a gift, not any specific title that would differentiate it from other kind of food. It's something unique. It's just Hashem taking care of it. And that's the reason why only after Shabbos did they preserve them. Because what's the purpose of preserving them? To know that Hashem can take care of us, and we can learn Torah and the mitzvahs with absolute relaxation, without any worries. Enough to make even the tiniest effort. And this is, when do you see that? When the man came down on Shabbos, when you had the man prepared on Friday for Shabbos, and on Shabbos just eating the man and not doing anything, making any effort at all, then you feel, I don't have to give the tiniest effort to make a living. I don't have to do anything at all. When do you feel you don't do anything at all? On Shabbos. On Shabbos, they didn't have to do anything at all. On Shabbos, it was all ready for them. So it's on Shabbos when they had this feeling that we don't have to do a single thing for it. This is just Hashem taking care of us. That's why after Shabbos, then Hashem said, okay, take this and preserve this experience. This experience, you see that you do a single thing. That's what I want you to remember. I take care of you. Not only do you not need to make, as people often say, but even make some effort. You have to take a shtadlus. Ben Yonah said, although Hashem tells us it's necessary from our perspective to work, Hashem tells us to work, but it doesn't help them. It doesn't help them. Our efforts do not make a difference. And when did you feel that you don't do any effort and have to take care of you without doing anything? On Shabbos. On Shabbos, when there's no effort at all, then you realize what it means. Hashem takes care of you. And that's what Hashem wanted to us to that experience. That there's no effort whatsoever in that we need to do. Hashem takes care of us. Hashem takes care of us fully. Now, the stories of the Torah are eternal, and they're a message for us every time, every generation. And there is two different kinds of divine sustenance. Chassidic talks about how there were 26 generations before the giving of the Torah that were nourished by God's infinite kindness. Hashem's kindness is infinite, and therefore even things which didn't deserve anything, people and didn't deserve, Hashem's infinite kindness is infinite. However, what does the Torah say? The Torah says that our sustenance doesn't work that way. Hashem says, if you will keep my mitzvahs, I will give you rain in its season. That in merit of us observing Torah, you receive more blessing. So it doesn't sound so fair. It doesn't sound as good. It sounds much better to have the abundance of Hashem's infinite kindness sustaining the world, and they're being and not being forced to keep these rules. And as good as keep the rules, the more sustenance. It doesn't sound very good. But nevertheless, the Torah's message to us about the man is that just like God gave us sustenance in a way with his light of his face, he gave us in the morning, but the gift, as opposed to the sustenance Hashem, although Hashem has infinite kindness, but it says in Chassidus that the way Hashem sustains the rest of the world is called chitzeni yisratim, called acharayim. The way Hashem sustained the world before the giving of the Torah or so to speak, like throwing something over his shoulder. As you're giving something to someone you don't like, because there's a purpose. You need this. You need to do this for something else. You need to pay your parking ticket because you don't want to get your car taken away. So don't care about the parking ticket. You just want to do this to get it over with for something else. It's a desire for a desire. It's an external desire. I don't want this. I want something else. So to the sustenance that Hashem gave and gives to the opposite of holiness, it's not something Hashem really wants. It's daily hanule, language of Kabbalah, something Hashem doesn't want. Hashem wants it for something else. As it says in the beginning of the Torah, Bereshis, God created the world for the sake of Torah, for the sake of the Jewish people to keep the Torah. So the sustenance the rest of the world gets from the infinite kindness of Hashem, it's not as measured as sustenance that we get, and you might think, oh, it's not as good. But really, where is there the light of Hashem's face, what He gives to us? The sustenance Hashem gives the world is a means to an end. It's a sustenance for the purpose of the Torah, for the purpose of our people getting it. It's not, it doesn't have intrinsic value. The real value is in the Jewish people in the Torah do the will of Hashem. That's the real value. Sustenance that was given to the world before the Torah was given, although there was abundance, as it says in the Torah, about before the flood, there was such abundance in the world, but that wasn't with the light of Hashem's face. It was just thrown over his shoulder, sort of. But the Jewish people, they may get less based upon their actions, but it's coming from God's pleasure. God's giving to them as a pnimius haratz, and the inner desire of Hashem is the mitzvahs that we do. So our sustenance, which comes through our mitzvahs, is through Hashem's pleasure. It's as it says in the Torah, with the light of the King's face, we are alive. The sustenance that we receive from Hashem, the merit of our mitzvahs, is with God's inner desire. And this is what the Jewish people prefer. We would rather get the minimal sustenance through keeping Shabbos, let's say, than Hashem sustaining us by breaking Shabbos. Even if the soul of the Jew is connected to Shabbos, and therefore breaking Shabbos doesn't really work for us. It's a permanent solution. Jew working on Shabbos, eventually it doesn't work. Eventually the things don't you can't earn a cent more by working on Shabbos because the Hashem is the one who's sustains it. So if Hashem says don't work on Shabbos, it's not gonna, in the long run, that money is not going to go towards good things. It won't last. But even temporarily, oh, I'm working on Shabbos and making more money, that temporary high is not something that the Jew prefers. Why? For the Jew, just like Hashem, give me 5 more minutes again, okay?
Okay.
Just like Hashem, He gives us with His pleasure, so too our pleasure is received from Hashem's face, from Hashem face to face, Hashem's desire. Just like Hashem gives us with His pleasure, that's what we want to get. We don't want to get more that's coming from what Hashem doesn't want, what Hashem is throwing over His shoulder. We rather get from Hashem what Hashem wants to give, with His pleasure, with His desire. And that's this pleasure is highlighted by the way the man came down. How did the man come down? The man came down with diamonds. The man came down in a way that you tasted anything you wanted to taste in the man. And so we see that not only is God giving us the man with pleasure, but we're receiving a lot of pleasure. We get any taste we want. We have diamonds with the man. So this gives us a lesson in every generation that the man came down once a day. And it came with exact measurement of each person what they need to receive. And yet, although it came down once a day, and it was very limited, yet it came down with the light of Hashem's face. It came down with Hashem's love. And the Jewish people saw in the man, it's Hashem's gift. So too, although the Torah says that Hashem gives us sustenance according to what we deserve, but that's precious to us because it was given to us with pleasure and the light of Hashem's face, and therefore we receive it also with tranquility, with pleasure, with enjoyment. And through this sustenance Hashem gives us with the light of His face, sustenance the Jew receives not by breaking Shabbos, but keeping the rules of the Torah, by being honest, that is what really satiates. Just like the man with a certain satisfaction, we don't have regular physical food. So too, a Jew has to know that by following what Hashem wants him to do, that's where the real satisfaction is. That's where the real pleasure is. And although it may seem that there's not a lot here, just like with the man came down in a way that's satisfying. So too, when you follow the laws of the Torah, and although it may seem that you're losing out. Well, truthfully, you can't really lose out, but someone's sustaining you, and therefore you're not losing out. But besides that, the kind of sustenance you have as a man uniquely satisfies the person as a Jew. And really, the truth is that Hashem, when Mashiach comes, the Torah says, will give us a great sustenance beyond measure, beyond nature. And as we're approaching the time of Mashiach, this is the way Hashem sustains the Jewish people. Also, in a similar way, with tremendous blessing, Gashmis, Ruchnis, and with the strength in our trust in Hashem, room for the man, Hashem takes care of us with abundance, without any limitation. That trust in Hashem itself. As the Gemara says, Hashem says, regarding the Shabbos, which the months before the Shabbos, Hashem says, borrow on my account, Hashem says, I'll pay you back. So to a Jew has to feel like, look, he's going to path of Hashem.